right here, and apparently next Monday, apparently in the night, Nintendo's going to be having a Nintendo Direct for their upcoming crossover, Hyrule Warriors. Needless to say, considering I'm a big Zelda fan, this game, from what I've seen thus far, looks awesome. And since I'm not sure if they're going to reveal new characters, but I'm just going to go ahead and tell you my thoughts on the characters so far. We'll start with the obvious one, Link. So far, he's been shown to be using a Hylian sword, whatever, typical for a hero. But what's more interesting is the other weapons I've seen him using. For one thing, he's able to use the Magic Rod, which is basically his way of burning enemies to the ground, and some of the stuff I've seen from the Magic Rod just looks plain awesome. There have also been recent trailers of him wielding the Power Glove. It's so bad. And by the looks of things, it functions quite a bit like the ball and chain from Twilight Princess. While the ball and chain, I'll admit, was unwieldy, the way it looks in Hyrule Warriors looks pretty damn awesome. Next we get to Zelda, who's finally playable in a Zelda game that won't suck! Apparently, according to the Japanese version, she's actually a queen now. Wow, talk about an upgrade. And the weapons so far we've seen her use are a rapier, which is pretty much overshadowed by magic use, and a baton, which, let's face it, it's the Wind Waker. No, seriously. I dare you to tell me that it's not the Wind Waker. I mean, because from what I've seen in gameplay, yeah, it's the Wind Waker. I'm going to be looking forward to playing as Zelda, to be sure. Next up, we have Impa. And holy crap, that sword of hers looks absolutely enormous. Goes to show you, being the captain of the guard must require a lot of strength. Okay, let's talk about one of the new characters, well, new hero characters introduced. The only new one introduced so far, that being Lana, the White Sorceress. Her gameplay seems to be using magic and creating hard light structures to attack enemies and maneuver. Looks pretty fun, to be honest. I'm probably going to end up playing as every character to go through their story mode at some point, so... But Lana's one of those that I look forward to playing as. Okay, next up, this one caught me off guard. Agatha, the bug lady from Twilight Princess. I mean, there's always going to be a joke character somewhere or other, and by the looks of it, Agatha is looking to be the joke character. I mean, she fights with a parasol, she summons giant insects to attack her enemies, and she can grow butterfly wings. I'll say this now, if Agatha does turn out to be the joke character, then it's pretty hilarious. Okay, let's see, we have Princess Rudo with a Zora scale, and who's probably the, well, not probably, it's definitely the game's resident hydrokinetic, using a Zora scale. I have to admit, she actually looks pretty tasteful. And definitely pretty. And then we get to the only hero character who's male, besides Link, who's been introduced so far. That being the Goron Chief Darunia. And he's got a hammer. A big hammer. Probably the Megaton hammer from Ocarina of Time. I did see the trailer for him, but if he does the Goron dance after a victory, I'm going to be very happy. And then, apparently, Hyrule Warriors is treating Zelda and Sheik as two separate characters. And if Sheik performs in Hyrule Warriors like she did in Melee, then That's going to be pretty fun. Let's see, other characters who've been... Oh wait, that's right. I almost forgot about Midna! Oh man, Midna just looks... She looks like she's going to be so fun to play as. I mean... I liked her in Twilight Princess. She's riding a Shadow Wolf. She attacks with a giant phantom hand, and she can bring down the moon from Majora's Mask! I mean, wow! And then there's one character I'm less enthused about. Another partner character from another Zelda game. Fi from Skyward Sword. Yeah, I was not that fond of Fi from Skyward Sword, but her gameplay does look pretty interesting. I mean, she's portrayed as the spirit of the goddess sword, but she pretty much uses kicks and pirouettes and all that stuff. I'm probably not looking that much forward to playing as her, but who knows? She might surprise me. Other characters, other familiar Zelda characters who have been introduced but not confirmed as playable, but have been confirmed as bosses, well, our enemies at least. Demon Lord Girahim, to the surprise of no one, who teleports and summons bokoblins and uses blades. And then there's Zant from Twilight Princess, who I have no idea what he does yet in the game. But I wonder, from now until the release of Hyrule Warriors, just who else is going to be put on display. It's going to be interesting, and I'm looking forward to it. So, who do you think is going to be revealed to be playable in Hyrule Warriors? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, but for now, user questions! First question comes from Josh Yoshi, who asks, favorite Castlevania game? Okay, a lot of fans seem to be divided between Super Castlevania 4 and Symphony of the Night. My favorite is Aria of Sorrow, and I'll tell you why. For one thing, I really like the story and the way it was set in the future rather than the medieval past. And I also appreciated the story and characters as it produced. It actually had a pretty good message if you think about it. And one character in particular I'll talk more about him when the time is right. I also loved the tactical soul system and how it was implemented. How you could steal powers from your enemies by defeating them and use them as your own. Yeah, that was pretty freaking sweet. Also, one of my favorite bosses from all time. One of my favorite bosses from all time is from that game. Yeah, I talked about Julius before, and great fight, great character, awesome game. Best Castlevania. Best Castlevania. Next question comes from Nintega, who asks, will you do any more Q reviews? If so, what will be the next one? I would love to do another Q review. I'm just not sure of what yet. I'm not sure whether it should be a game that I absolutely hate or another game that I really enjoy. Yeah. It's like, there are games I'd love to review, like Shovel Knight, Sin and Punishment Star Successor, games that don't get enough attention, like Arcana Heart 3, or games that I hate, like, that game I dare not mention. But I would like to do another Q review. It just doesn't come down to when and what game. Next question comes from Mohammed Al-Banai, who asks, what is your least favorite Stardroid from Mega Man 5? When he says Stardroids, I know he means the Game Boy version, and Uranus is my least favorite Stardroid, hands down. And for one thing, his design and his fight are kind of bullshit. And it's like, the way he digs up the floor, and the way he brings down the ceiling when he stomps, there's a potential for an insta-kill there, which is, in my opinion, a big no-no. Also, the weapon you get from him, it sucks. The Deep Digger is It's kind of like the super arm from Mega Man 1, but worse. It's like the only boss it's ever effective on is Terra. It disrupts the ground in that arena, kind of making it possibly harder to dodge his attacks. And there are only a few other places where you can actually use it. If you could drop a boulder from the... If you could create a boulder out of thin air with that weapon, it would be pretty friggin' awesome. In fact, it might even be borderline broken, but as it stands, it's a bad weapon. Next question comes from Jay Utter, who asks, how many video games would you say you have played in your lifetime? Man, that is a hard question. It's definitely at least in the hundreds, but I really can't get an accurate count. It's kind of like you're asking me how many pieces of toast I've had in my lifetime. I mean, it's just not a question I think I can really answer to any degree of accuracy. Yeah, wish I could be more help there. Final question comes from Vin Ryu, who asks, how high is the hype for MH4 Ultimate? Link equipment. That is all.